Hello and welcome to my channel. Here I review new movies and television shows and release a video every day from Monday to Friday. Today I want to talk about Blackberry. It's a historical drama that covers the rise and fall of one of the first and biggest modern phone producers. Writer, director, and actor Matt Johnson takes Blackberry's story and turns it into an intense drama about an honest man's descent to hell along a road paved with good intentions. The film delivers the real events in a dramatized way through the eyes of three main characters. Mike Lazaridis, played by Jay Baruchel, and his friend Doug, played by Matt Johnson, are the co-founders of a company called Research in Motion, or RIM. They sell electronics that they produce, and recently they've come up with an idea for an email device and a phone combined into one. They go to a meeting with an investment firm to pitch their idea and encounter Jim Balsillie, played by Glenn Howerton. Jim initially rejects their idea, but after a sudden change in employment status, he ends up joining their company as the co-CEO. The film follows their journey to turn the company from a cash-burning operation into one of the world's most powerful phone companies. And then we watch as all the little mistakes they made along the way come back to bite them, and we get to see their house of cards come crashing down. It's an exciting, straightforward, character-driven story about real history, and it does a good job of fleshing out Doug, Mike, and Jim as characters. A lot of the intrigue comes from the relationships in this film and seeing how Mike changes over time due to the influence of Doug and Jim. Mike Lazaridis is an honest man who believes in producing quality products and ensuring that his workers have a safe and fun work environment with bosses who care. His friend Doug is a bit of a nerdy frat boy who spends his time in the office playing games and keeping morale at a high. Jim is a ruthless businessman who doesn't care about anyone but himself, and he's great at manipulating situations to his advantage. As the company grows and expands, Mike is forced to make tough decisions about his company that might mean compromising some of his morals. When things reach a boiling point, Doug and Jim end up fighting for Mike's soul. While the story is focused on the intense drama of the situation, it also has tiny elements of comedic relief to relieve tension throughout the film. The comedy comes from the hilarious mismatch between Jim's serious business persona and the frat boy way of life that Mike and Doug have built at RIM. The cast is the real standout of the film, with Jay Baruchel, Matt Johnson, and Glenn Howerton knocking their roles out of the park. The rest of the cast is good too, with actors like Saul Rubinek, Michael Ironside, and Martin Donovan making short but impactful appearances. Jay Baruchel plays the unconfident and highly intelligent Mike Lazaridis. He's a stickler for the rules and doing things right. He's also the kind of person who's so bothered by a buzz that he'll go rooting through someone else's things to find the source and fix it. Baruchel plays him as an honest man who gets trampled on by others. He plays the rise and fall of Mike in a tragic way, and by the end you feel sympathetic toward his character. Matt Johnson plays the frat boy Doug. He quotes movies, looks and acts like a nerd stereotype from the 80s, and genuinely cares about his employees. He does his best to keep morale high and problems to a minimum. He also doesn't mind getting his hands dirty and routinely stands up for himself and Mike. Johnson does well with the emotions and stands up against Howerton without backing down. Glenn Howerton plays the aggressive, ruthless businessman Jim Balsillie. He's got few morals and even less patience for those who do. His only goals are to make money and to be the most prominent man in every room. Howerton plays him like he's always straddling the edge of complete rage and serene calm. The stark contrast in behavior turns him into a captivating train wreck with no visible destination. Visually, the film looks a bit like a TV mockumentary. It follows the characters with a hectic gaze that's often shaky and unsure. It looks around the room from person to person hoping to catch the most important moment, but it's like the camera doesn't know where it's going. At first it was a little overwhelming, but then the film finds these quiet moments where the camera becomes still and it takes the time to focus on a character and their emotions in that moment. These moments of relief do a good job of breaking up the tension. As for big visual scenes, there are a few small visual gags here and there that are fun. But the real standouts are the little moments where they manage to capture some truly raw emotions. Like at one point, Jim is on the phone with somebody and receives some bad news. The camera watches as he smashes the public payphone to bits in a fit of rage and then ends the shot focused on the broken phone. It was a great scene that truly captured just how angry this guy was and how he dealt with it. It makes him look psychotic and dangerous while also showcasing just how in trouble they were. Sound-wise, the film doesn't use a lot of music, but does use it to great effect. There is a solid mix of mood-setting tracks and original songs that appear throughout. There's a bit of rock and roll, some synth techno, and a few video game-style tracks. They're mostly used to fill in behind transitions or montages, but every once in a while we get a mood-setting track in behind a dramatic scene. It's always incredibly well timed, comes in at the perfect volume, and gets your heart stirring in your chest. The songs make a huge impact even though they don't appear all that often. The silence throughout the film works well to make the setting appear more serious, although there were moments that could have used a little bit of music. I really enjoyed the soundtrack and found the songs that play during transitions and montages to be catchy and fun. Overall, Blackberry did a great job of retelling the history of this Canadian phone company in an entertaining way. The story is precise, lean, and moving. It's a tragic tale of this company's rise and fall, and it has a cast of characters that fully commit to their performances, knocking it completely out of the park. The visuals are a little hectic, but they make a strong impact and so does the music. It isn't experimental, but it is a solid production with a good story at the heart of it. 8 out of 10. And remember, those are just my thoughts on the film. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Bye-bye!